Good evening, and I'm going to cover the story of sometimes if you have a name that later on becomes famous. Now, this is September 22nd, 1884, and it's in New York. Now, the famous Lou Gehrig was not born for 19 years, so he obviously had uh, nothing to do with this. But on the 22nd, a fire broke out. It was a Saturday morning, and a three-story building at the corner of Wilcott and Riverton Street was burning. Lou Gehrig, who was an Elation resident, um, was the owner and ran the saloon in the on the corner. He lived on the next floor with his wife and little boy of about 9 years. He let out spare rooms to make ends meet, and they were living there quite well until this fire. When the firemen arrived, the ladders were put up to the roof, and with a view of um, the horror, they discovered that the mother, Mrs. Gehrig, and her son were on the roof, both very badly burned. Mrs. Gehrig was unconscious with whole parts of her body actually missing. The boy is a little bit better off, but still barely clinging to life. And if he does survive, it'll be a miracle. So, a few moments before the flames had already been burning through the roof, and within moments they would have ended their existence altogether. The unfortunate woman was terribly burned and died within moments of reaching the hospital, and she never gained consciousness. In the meantime, the firemen were busy trying to save this building. Now, you're talking horse and buggy and hand irons to run it. It was, not a good place. Finally, they got the under control, and an investigation was made. They found signs of arson and fuel being placed all around the house. In a closet that was behind the bar in the saloon was a pile of shavings, and there was kerosene found in the furniture. The fire was definitely started in the rear of the sitting room and the second floor, and the door leading both up and downstairs was left open, so the flames could, start a wall of fire when they got up to the stairs. Now, this meant that the poor lady and little boy had no chance. In the bedroom of the sitting room were two beds. There was not a vestige of bedding left in them, showing that kerosene had been used on them also. So even their bed was drenched. A small rear room off of this leading to the hall had another supply of stove plentiful covered with kerosene. No trace of Mr. Gehrig. They couldn't find him. He was the proprietor and could not be found. It was learned that he had been dependent of late, and that he was not successful in his business. His wife went out regaining all day. I'm not sure that's Old English. On his return, at that night, he took some money, saying that he wanted to pay the beer bill. Accounts differ because of that, but a few hours later, the police found him near his home, intoxicated. He was arrested, charged with arson and murder. He said that he had been on a drunk and knew nothing about the fire. He was taken to the Tampa court and remained to wait an investigation. So, a sad story, but shows what, you can have the same name and be a totally different person. Thank you.